Tedious and awful it may be, but the money made by computer animation more than makes up for it. Disney's blockbuster Toy Story, the first entirely computer-generated movie, went on to gross $350 million. But will technological progress ever replace us good old-fashioned humans? All very different from traditional animation, which uses pens, paint and plastic sheets, 24 sheets for every second of film. That's 130,000 separate frames for a 90-minute animated feature. With a computer, once you've programmed the basic information into a character, the software lets you control every aspect of it. And now, the man without whom none of Toy Story would have been possible. Ed Catmull of Pixar.
I believe very early on that the way to really make the progress is to recognize that in the end, the art and the story is going to be supreme. And so in building tools, we had to make economic tools for artists and for storytellers. Everything has to be subservient to the story. Initially, the technology wasn't good enough to tell good stories. It was too crude. It didn't look good. Because if you're going to tell a good story, you also want it to look beautiful and engaging. The ultimate goal, and I believe this a long time ago, was to get to the point where people didn't think about the technology.
I'm entering data points on the surface of this clay model, and what I'm attempting to do is get an accurate sampling of the surface, trying to get really, it's just measuring this clay model, and when I'm done, I'll have a mesh of points that will describe what the shape of the dog is. There are several hundred points on the surface of the dog, and they're all stitched together to make a smooth surface that represents what the dog would look like.
These points make up a wireframe, the basic computer model for Scud the dog. The designer can then make the wireframe Scud do any trick he wants, using controls on each part of his body. Computer tools like these are at the heart of this new animation industry. With this software, the animators can begin to put some life into Scud's computer bones and change it as often as the script demands. Their skill makes this bundle of numbers into something that looks almost real. Ruff.
And this is where an animator can breathe life into a character. So once once a character has been modeled, the technical director will set up that character with certain controls at each joint, a neck joint and every shoulder and elbow and every possible joint that you could move. And that then comes over to my computer, where I can sit down and manipulate those joints at will. If I wanted him to look as though he was sort of protecting himself, it would be easy enough to bring his arm up and adjust his hand around to get just the right position. And this is where the animator's eye really comes in, is to be able to get that right position that communicates an idea visually. I can actually change a facial shape, so I can make him sneer a little bit, I can puff his cheek up a little bit. There's a huge combination of facial controls that I can then do to really bring this character to life, because we all really tend to focus on faces and eyes, and that's a really important part of Toy Story, was really making the eyes of the characters feel alive.
The thing that people, I would hope, would understand is that the computer is a very malleable tool. One can't look at the current thing and say, oh, that is the look of computer animation, because it's not. It is going to change dramatically. The compute power that's available now is 200 times what it was 7 years ago. I mean, it's just an astonishing increase of compute power, which is going to increase. And the kinds of looks that we create will get better, will look greater, they'll look more artistic, they'll look artsy, they'll have all sorts of looks to them that the artist will pick. And there will not be a computer look.